sweeties, and welcome to my channel. My name is Ronnie, and today's build is a big one. It's a big boy. So we're going to be here for some time, of course, if you will enjoy that. I hope you will. So I would recommend right from the start to maybe pause the video, go make yourself some hot tea, coffee, or maybe hot cocoa. Oh my god, I'm craving hot cocoa right now. Unbelievable. Anyway, go and grab yourself some drink. I'll wait here, just pause the video and come back, because today we're building a Victorian mansion. I am not entirely sure whether I'm going to actually name it this way or not, but we will see. Regarding those drinks, I'm drinking coffee right now. I just got home a couple of minutes ago, and I grabbed myself a cup of coffee. It's a batch brew. Not sure whether I have some coffee drinkers in my followers or just watchers, let's say. But yeah, I had to grab it on my way home simply because it's freezing cold outside. I can't believe this. My hands are still shaking a bit, and coffee was necessary, or not coffee per se, but maybe some hot drink was, it was really necessary. I was just warming my hands on the way home, and yeah, it's so freezing cold outside that surprisingly that coffee is cold. I have still a half of the cuppa, and yep, it's gone. So let me quickly sip. Well, that's no longer satisfying, but we'll continue, and probably after recording this voiceover I'll go and make myself some hot tea. Anyway, I should probably tell you something about the build, right? So like I said, we're building a Victorian mansion. Of course, it's inspired by buildings as such. I'm not well versed in architecture, so I'm just mimicking some features that seemed common in Victorian era architecture. So we have those bay windows, relatively more box-like structure, and we're depending on a relatively simple color scheme. So we're working with just black and white and introducing red color as the dominant color. Here the red is prevalent in flower boxes, so these base game boxes with those beautiful red flowers were absolutely perfect. I combined them together with the flower box from the Discover University, I think. Let me think. Yeah, I think it's a Discover University. So the way you can do it, you just size down the base game item and just nest it in this way, and I think it looks much nicer. Here you can see me using these beautiful red flowers from Jungle Adventure. They just fit the color scheme nicely, and I think they make a lot of sense on the exterior as well. This is not the only item on the exterior that's from this specific pack, that from the Jungle Adventure pack. You might have noticed that I also used those stone-like decoration pieces that, in my opinion, make for a lovely edge to those builds when you don't really want to use columns. So I very much recommend using them this way. They can stacked on each other a bit, and they're not clipping that much, so they make sense, honestly. And I just enjoy using them like this. At least I hope I've already played them, but maybe not. Yeah, you can see them there. Anyway, you can see that I just popped inside, and I work out the floor plan. It's relatively simple. The shape of the house kind of suggests this specific shape. So of course, on the right side of the house, that is currently on your left side, we have a hallway, and then rooms such as living room and kitchen are on the like other half of the build where the window or the bay windows are. So right now I am decorating it like bringing the colors from the exterior to the interior, and to be quite honest with you, I am going to hate it in a second. So I don't think it's like not necessarily bad, but it wasn't as warm as I wanted it to be. I think I kind of intended to go for like clean chic style, combining old items with newer items. So here we are incorporating lots of items from Discover University, so those should represent like the older look of things, like the Victorian era, and we are combining them with vintage glamour. So vintage glamour, you know, everything is like opulent and luxurious, I think, quite like nicely, and those two packs do fit together nicely. But I just wanted to combine the old with the new, and both achieving the luxurious feel that I intended for this build. But like I said, I am working with the black and white color scheme, and though it's chic, it probably wasn't what I had in mind, and I was missing some soul in it, I have to admit. Maybe I'm just like not the right person to decorate in black and white. I am just like plopping items here and there, and them being white and or black is good enough for me maybe. So I don't think I managed the combination to basically work, to put it very, very like bluntly. I like some ideas that I had there that I am going to get rid of, like those like those mirrors from above the fireplace. But in a couple of minutes I'm going to change the color scheme, and I'm going to rearrange some items. I liked the specific items, have to admit it was like a favorite part of mine. I think that I managed to combine the packs quite nicely. I was very happy about that, but still that color scheme was bugging me. Not at this point, as you can see that I'm still decorating it in this black and white, but I knew that I had to keep it in because first of all, we're just in most parts we're going to just like change the swatches of some items. We're just going to move some items from that place to another, and so what you see right now is something you'll get in the end mostly, except for the kitchen. The kitchen is something that I'm just going to delete the whole thing. I just wasn't happy about it at all. I think this was a new day for me, so I opened my game again and I started decorating the exterior. I wanted to, I don't know, maybe your building process is a bit different, but for me, I tend to work on the exterior or the interior based on my own mood. So if I'm in the mood for the exterior and to like pop some plants here and there and have fun with that, I'm going to work on that. But at different times, I'm just like, oh my god, I want to build an interior. Maybe an apartment, but I'm building a house, so I'm just like popping from the exterior to the interior and back and doing whatever just feels right in that moment. And usually that gives me the best results, because simply if I feel like working on the exterior, then it's probably something that I should do, because it's the best thing I can do in that particular moment. Now you can see me playing around with the roof pieces, and I have to admit that this is probably the only part of the build where I am not 100% happy with. Simply because I think that I probably should have kept the rooftop like bare with no roof pieces, and just, let it be simple and flat. I'm going to change the roof pieces. I'm going to do that off camera because it just wasn't filming when I was looking at the build and I wasn't happy with it. So the rooftop is not going to be as high as it is right now, but I still think that maybe I should have done it differently. I don't think that it looks bad. Maybe it really does not follow the Victorian style that much right now. So I think it's better when I changed it. I think it looks quite nice after those alterations are made. But feel free to what's the word? Criticize. Yeah, criticize me for that because, like I said, I'm not 100% happy with it myself. But I still like the overall look anyway, so I kept it in. Now you see me back in the interior and we are finally changing the swatches. So I've decided that warm reddish brown flooring will be the best. It introduces a lot of warmth into the interior without making any drastic changes. And I am combining it with this Discover University type of furniture, and some of those swatches have this very similar reddish color. I never use them in my builds, I think, because for me personally they are maybe too vibrant, maybe too reddish, but here they made so much sense. And in combination with, still we have some darker tones, and with those beiges and whites, I think they really pop out basically, and they just fit there perfectly because they're so dominant in their own color, and I very much enjoyed it. I think it looks great now. I was absolutely ecstatic when I made those changes, and I suddenly knew, okay, this is what I want to use. So we keep decorating the living room. That, in my opinion, is the probably nicest part of the house, or definitely my favorite. We have a relatively big TV there, and we are just adding a few pieces of decoration here and there. Some lanterns, those made a lot of sense to me. I think that in spaces like this you want to introduce different spots of light where you just can turn them on as you basically want to, so you can enlighten or shed some light on areas that make sense to you in that particular moment. So yeah, I'm here going to add this standing light as well, and I think it divides the space quite nicely. So we're bringing the color scheme to our dining room / kitchen. At this point the kitchen is still kind of being divided from the dining room, but I'm going to delete those wall pieces, and we're going to put it all together, and we're going to change the direction of the kitchen. So I kind of know that I have this blue color scheme, so that's why I'm trying to make the blue swatch of the colors work, but as you can see it was too stark, too it was hurting the eyes too much, I think. So I've decided against it, and I just kept the simple white color swatch. However, I am still bringing those reds and blues inside with the wonderful carpet. I combined 2 carpets in here. It made sense to me. I think it looks really lovely and very luxurious, and it's quite interesting because one of them is probably from, I think it's City Living, and it's my favorite carpet, so I am overusing it, I know that. But I thought that combining it together with the carpet from Laundry Day stuff, and I think it's Laundry Day, was quite of a nice match. The Laundry Day carpet is too small, and it's it felt like you don't have the money maybe for like a bigger carpet. So combining the two, I think, creates this nice color scheme. It's basically bringing those like wood flooring colors to the carpet right beneath the table, and it's just so nice and cohesive, and I very much enjoy that. You can see that I tried to use those counters from and that bag is called Parenthood. Sorry, I'm having issues remembering all the pack names. So yeah, the Parenthood, because once again it worked with the beiges and the reddish like colors, but in that moment it felt like too much, and bringing back these like grey and black tones with a very lovely shade of brown on the counters made way more sense to me. So that's what we're doing here, and I think that the kitchen now looks so much better. We are playing around with some like golden pops of color here and there, also bringing back like those oranges, and yeah, we're trying to make it as nice as possible using a number of plants. And of course we're going to decorate the space now to make it look lived in, not overly cluttered. This is supposed to be like more luxurious, so I think that you wouldn't have that many items. Like I'm not sure whether the out and about is a good term here, probably not, but that's what I thought of immediately. But yeah, you don't want that too many items like scattered around the space, because then it looks too messy and you don't want that. Such a pity, my coffee is still cold. Never mind, sorry, I had to pause the recording just to take another sip. And here we are, and we continue with the build. So we're still in the kitchen, making a few changes here and there, adding a couple of items, and soon enough we should be done with the kitchen. Since this video is a bit longer, I thought that maybe we could talk about something else as well. So my question is, what do you guys play in terms of like video games apart from The Sims? I'm very much interested in that, because I have to admit that at this point I am looking for some cozy game that I can play. I don't know, since still like it's still winter, and since we no longer have like Christmas, you know, to be excited about, like we no longer have that, I need to enlighten my days in some way. So I thought that I would ask you what games you are playing right now, because I'm looking for some. I'm thinking about playing Luma Islands. I have this game, I bought this game already, and I think it could fit my like gaming style. I've already played Stardew Valley. Have to admit, I perfected it, meaning I have all the achievements except for 3. I think 3 are missing, but those are like I'm not getting those. 2 of them relate to those like arcade games, and I tried them, and no, I'm not going to do that, because I'm not really trying to get this particular achievement, because it's going to take me hours and hours to like get even like remotely good at those games, and it was just not worth it. And of course the other achievement is the Joja ending, and yeah, I'm not getting that achievement either. So other than that, I have all the achievements. I have a wonderful farm, so if you were interested, I could do like some farm tour at some point. I would very much enjoy it. Stardew is a great love of mine. So that's why I thought that maybe Luma Island could be a good idea. I think there's like a good balance of like a farming simulator and of course some like combat. So that kind of made sense to me, and I already watched some playthroughs of that, and I think that game is very, very lovely. And I saw that there are like constant updates there, so I might very much enjoyed. But did you have any other recommendations? And they do not necessarily need to be like farming games. Recently I've been playing Hades, the first one actually, and I am enjoying that a lot. I'm still playing it even though I've already finished the main game, but I want to get even better, and I'm a bit sad that some achievements are not yet obtained. So that's why I continue, and I very much enjoy it. So if you have any game recommendations, I would be very happy to hear them. So yeah, those are the games I'm playing. I've also started playing Alan Wake 1. It's completely new, to me. I've watched playthroughs before, so I know the story, I know what you're supposed to do, but it's a first shooting game of mine, and I struggle a bit. I have to admit that I'm not particularly good at it, so I only played like a couple of minutes, or 20, 30, 40 minutes, and then I struggled too much with it, so that's why I've decided that might not be the game for me, but we'll see. I may grab it sometime and try again. Maybe if you have some recommendations that would teach me how to be better at those games, because for instance Alan Wake is a game that I very much enjoy, or strictly speaking enjoy the storytelling of it. I enjoy the originality. I think that Remedy games have some wonderful games. The Alan Wake 2 game is amazing. The soundtrack is so good, and like I said, I just love the story. So if you have any recommendations how I could get better at those games, I would love to hear them. Or maybe you are playing more sim-like games, and I would also love to hear those recommendations. I am very much looking forward to Paralives, so hopefully once it gets into the early access, we might even here on this channel grab it and build in there as well. I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it could be in May, is it? The May of this year? I hope so. So yeah, look forward to that, because I think that the art style is gorgeous, and if I have more sim-like games where I can build houses and apartments, I will very much enjoy it. So yeah, pop down some comments telling me what I should play, or just tell me what you are playing right now, and I might get inspired and play it as well. So thank you in advance, and we should go back to the build that you're watching, hopefully still. If you do so, hi, hello, greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for everything. So we moved on to the first floor, and we are trying to decorate 2 bedrooms at the same time. I'm kind of jumping from one room to the other. I wasn't entirely sure what kind of items I was going to use, and I wanted to combine them kind of nicely so that it makes sense. So you can see that from the Discover University there is this nightstand and the nightstand, and there's this bookcase or bookshelf, and in those colors that I already talked about. And in the other room we have the table and the chair. So yeah, I knew that I was going to use those items, but I didn't want to use them just in one room and then basically have nothing left for the other one. So that's why I'm popping from one room to the other, deciding on the items that I'm going to use. You can see that actually and oh my goodness, what is it called? It's the Modern Lux Kit? I hope so, the Modern Lux Kit. Yeah, it's it's coming in handy in those rooms. I think it fits nicely with the Vintage Glamour items and the Discover University items. So it's absolutely a perfect combo in my opinion. I think that we might stay here in the main bedroom for some time. So, yes, this is intended for like the parents of the family, like I've already said, at least I hope so. Um, I decided to use this vanity table. It's from the kit as well. And it's a relatively big room, so I wasn't entirely sure how to like fill it all in. But I think that leaving it more open also made a lot of sense, and I think it looks genuinely nice. There is no computer in this room, but there is a laptop downstairs in the kitchen, so that's what I think the parents are using in terms of the computer. And I prefer the vanity table here. I think it looks much nicer. It brings more of the like blue color in there and this like modern luxurious feel. I think a vanity table makes sense in here quite well. I am combining basically the same colors that we had downstairs, so the beiges, reddish browns and blues with pops of gold everywhere. And I think that might be for this room. I am just going to decorate this piece of a bookshelf, and that should be it. And we should move on to the exterior. That was unexpected even for me. So probably that was like the right time to go back to the exterior and focus on that. I didn't keep the whole process in the speed build, simply because it gets a bit repetitive. I'm just going to place the flowers that you can see here in the front yard. I'm going to apply it everywhere in the backyard as well, but I think we're going to skip that part because it's not that necessary. Like, there are just tons of red flowers everywhere. I think in like these terms the color scheme is relatively simple. For this like front yard and backyard landscaping, I am using the base game, I think, mostly, and the romantic garden stuff pack. I know it's not a well-liked pack, but I personally like it. I think that otherwise I'm usually just using the base game items for the landscaping, so this is something nice that I can add, and I like the textures on those flowers a lot. So that's what we're doing here right now. So we're adding those. We're also adding those from Jungle Adventure, because there's simply not enough of them in there, and we're trying to make it look like from those red flowers, you have all those vines going up the building, and I think it looks nice. Of course, I'm adding the trash can here and the mailbox. I just made such a long pause because I couldn't remember the word mailbox, so I had to cut that out. Sorry, it was unbelievable how long it took me to remember that word. Anyway, that's what happens when you're a non-native speaker. I do my best, but yeah, there are some worse days basically. So we're back in the upstairs, and we're now decorating the room that is intended like for the child of those parents. I imagined a daughter, not really sure why, but that's just what I imagined. And I thought it's already someone who's old enough to be maybe like a college student, or maybe someone who's just trying to find their new apartment or something, but they're like still living with their parents. And of course, there's necessarily like no shame in that. Of course, it depends on your like life situation. But I thought that maybe the daughter is spending a lot of time here with her boyfriend, so I kind of tried to make this room in some way look more romantic. That's why I added this like movie poster. So I thought that it fit there quite nicely. I like the color scheme of it as well, because of course it fits. And then I decorated the balcony that is attached to this room with like two people in love in my mind. So there are two lounge chairs, and we have some decorations that are like associated with love. Anyway, we are trying to finish this room. I'm adding a couple of pillows there to make the bed look a bit more interesting. I think it's a bit too ordinary maybe. So I thought that adding those pillows would add quite nice details there. I think we're just going to add some picture, and we're moving on to the hallway. The hallway is relatively simple, although it took me quite a long time. I couldn't quite figure out what to place in there. Maybe I should have like placed a chess table or something like that, but yeah, I think like the downstairs hallway looks much better, but this hallway doesn't really serve any purpose. Maybe that's the problem of it, but honestly it's just a hallway, so it's that simple. I am quite curious to see whether we are going to decorate the bathroom, but I think that the upstairs bathroom is something I cut out so you can see the result in the screenshots at the end. It looks quite similar to the one downstairs, so I didn't think that you need to watch me decorate two very similar bathrooms, and I think that this video is long enough as it is. So we're just finishing the hallway, and I think that soon enough we should move on to the sunroom. So the sunroom is something that I thought that, you know, it can give us some interesting storytelling. Otherwise this it's not an apartment. This house is like relatively simple in terms of its storytelling. Like it's like very luxurious and very lovely. Like I said, I had some like specific sims in my mind, but the sunroom is something. So my idea was that this is where the family hides its secret, and the secret is simply that they've learned how to grow cow plants. In my mind, in this universe, this is something that is still being studied, that is not yet like known that well, and this family figured it out. So they are basically growing cow plants everywhere. I think it's great that we have, I think, one cow plant also in the main bedroom. I've also added the seed of the cow plant there. I think it looks amazing, like the stamp table. Considering there are only a couple of items here and there, I think it looks great. So my idea was that this family is growing this cow plant, and their intentions are not necessarily good, so they might use it as a murder weapon. I thought it was brilliant in my mind, and sorry, I know it suddenly turned a bit dark, I know, but the inspiration for that was a Czech movie. Since I'm from the Czech Republic, you might have noticed like in my accent that I have a Czech accent, and I'm not sure whether it was like in the 60s, possibly. We had this movie called Adela ještě nevečeřela, which means basically Adele has not yet dined, and it's about a carnivorous, is that the word that you use? Like a plant that eats meat. So I thought that actually the cow plant is very similar to this like plant called Adele, and I thought it was like funny and interesting, and you know, like, why not? It's a luxurious house, so this like hidden secret, dark secret there, it's just, I think, perfect. So yeah, a bit darker than usual, I guess this build is, but it looks absolutely perfect on the outside, and you wouldn't know a single thing. And with that, I'm going to say my goodbyes. So thank you so much for watching. Have the most wonderful day, and hopefully I will see you soon in my next videos. Bye!